All right, joining me now, Marc Morano, publisher of Climate Depot and author of The Great Reset, and Steve Milloy, former Trump EPA transition member and founder of junkscience.com. Marc, man, they were really pushing it today at the UN. They are selling the propaganda fear to get people to believe that this is really the best it's ever going to be right now. And over time, things are going to have to be the new normal. Do you see it that way?
Yes. In fact, the most significant thing was the message of all the protesters in the streets in New York City urging Joe Biden to declare a national climate emergency. Now, that just sounds like a slogan, but there's a real teeth behind it. The COVID emergency declaration made the climate activists jealous. We had a Teen Vogue activist, Jamie Margolis, say, if we can shut down the world for a virus, we can do the same thing for climate. And that's exactly what they want to do. The Center for Biological Diversity has estimated that Joe Biden will get 130 new executive powers by which to bypass democracy if this climate emergency declaration goes through. They will be able to literally have no vote in Congress to impose this agenda upon us, just like COVID.
Steve, where's the Republicans in the Senate? The Senate leadership see what's going on here. This is an attempt to choke off oil and gas. Oil's high. It's $95 a barrel now, but mostly because of their policy. They're making the oil companies richer and richer. But they want this over. They want to end this exploration in the United States. Maybe just a little trickle, but this is war against our future and our prosperity.
Yeah, definitely, it's war against our economy. They want to shut down the fossil fuel industry. The Biden administration wants to have the banks loan money based on temperature goals. Meanwhile, they say that communist China's coal emissions are not a problem. And then you have Republicans in the Senate.
They're deaf mutes. I'm sorry, but they don't say anything. They're not saying anything.
If I was a senator, I would be burning the place down, making the point that the Biden administration is trying to destroy this country through climate policy. But Republicans don't seem to be too exercised about it.
Well, it seems to me that the ideas that are being floated now to further combat this climate change and emergency are getting crazier and crazier. The New York Times published an op-ed piece claiming that geoengineering the oceans by adding iron, in effect fertilizing the oceans now, may offer the best, most effective, most affordable way to not just slow the march of global warming, but to reverse it by directly drawing carbon out of the atmosphere. Well, is there any, Marc, any merit to that? Or?
No, I mean, this is just another multi-billion-dollar scheme. They're talking about geoengineering the oceans. Bill Gates is giving Harvard University billions of dollars to try to block out the sun to prevent global warming. And then you have CBS this morning and multiple other mainstream shows, the ABC News Weather, talking about cloud seeding. The new motto seems to be the government will control the weather and you will be happy. They're literally going to pour billions of dollars into these schemes to try to alter the climate. And then they're going to say, well, we don't know the result, but because you're not going along with the Green New Deal, we have no choice but to do these risky schemes.
Steve, do you not agree that this is it for us? I mean, we vote to continue this economic decline and to basically neuter ourselves on the energy sector side. How do you come back from that? It'd be extremely difficult after 4 more years.
Well, when President Trump left office, we were in charge of the oil market, the marginal price. We controlled it. We were energy dominant. Joe Biden completely dropped the ball there. And even though we're actually producing more oil now than under the Trump administration, we have lost the chance to control the oil market, and it's causing inflation. It's hurting our national security. OPEC is back in the driver's seat like they were in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s.
And they took what was a 500-year supply, 600-year supply of oil and gas, and now we have put off limits millions and millions of acres. We have the prohibitions in New Mexico as well. That is the future. I mean, that's just a glimpse into what the future is going to be for the country.
Yeah, all they're doing is offshoring energy exploration to countries with lower human rights and environmental standards. And, like when you talk about carbon taxes, the UN in Africa wants a global carbon tax. All that's going to do is raise CO2 emissions, period, because it's going to move all the Western wealthy countries with the highest standards to development energy extraction in countries that don't have it. This is the intentional collapse of our energy, food, and transportation. It's happening right before our eyes. There's no vote of Congress generally on any of this. Just like COVID, we didn't vote on mask mandates, school closures, church closures. We didn't vote on car gas bans. California legislature didn't even vote on it.
I know is in favor of any of this. I mean, this is the crazies on college campuses and the activist types, but I don't hear Americans clamoring for higher gas prices. Please take our gas stoves away. Please give us these mandates on the EVs in our states. Who's asking for this?
No one is. But, of course, during COVID, we all rolled over for big government. And so big government now thinks it can do whatever it wants. All it needs to do is declare a climate emergency. They wanted to go from COVID lockdowns into a climate lockdown, and that's where we're headed because they think we'll just take it.
Yeah, I predicted this 3 years ago, the climate lockdowns, racial lockdowns. This never ends. Anything to take your personal freedoms away. Shouldn't whoever the nominee is going to be, might be Trump, it probably will be Trump at this point, could be DeSantis or maybe someone else. This should be front and center every single day. I'm going to get gas down to about, by the time I'm done, it's going to be $2.25 a gallon again. Absolutely. Yes? Isn't that a winner issue?
Just run on the fact that we're not going to ban gas-powered cars. No one voted for it. It's not going to happen. And you tell the automakers that, and you tell the consumers. We have the corporate...
They're killing the UAW. The EVs are killing the UAW. They're killing the auto industry.
They're killing the auto.
And corporate banks are now saying they're not going to give car loans to people who buy gas-powered cars. The World Bank isn't going to allow financing at the automaker level, according to Nicholas Stern. This is the world in which we face, and the Republicans need to get their game up and fight this.
So we'll see, next week at the debate whether any Republicans are going to be serious about this. At the last debate, Vivek had good answers, DeSantis had good answers. But after that, it just all kind of goes into
generalities. It's like cliches and generalities. We've got to get specific on this.
I'll tell you who's got the best answers. RFK Jr., he actually says, forget everything else you know about him. He said, I won't talk about climate change because it's been hijacked by the World Economic Forum and the UN for totalitarian control of society.
As long as we're making China rich, don't tell me that we're fighting the climate change. I mean, they're not serious about any of that. Great to see both of you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.